Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Feeling pretty good. We had, if you're unaware, if you happen to be here but haven't seen any of the news recently, we we had a pretty big announcement that went out yesterday, and I mean, the response has been fantastic. It's been really great. Tons of fun talking to everybody about it. Item factions, details for item factions has been unveiled, announced, described, all these sorts of things. And it sounds like you guys are pretty pumped to try it out. Yeah. Seems like you think it's a good thing, which is great. I can't wait. And I hope it goes as well as it seems like it's going to right now. If this is your first time here to the stream, hello, my name's Mike. We're gonna play some Last Epoch, and I'm gonna answer your questions. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question in chat so I see it. Got a little tickle in the back of my throat here, so I might be muting my mic here. Yeah, that's about. Oh, we stream for charity. There's a charity above my head. They do cool stuff. We give them money so they can do more cool stuff. Yeah. It's about. I'm really interested to hear people's, like, thoughts, and like if you already knew everything about the trade factions or the item factions and if you already knew everything about the item factions, or if this is like all brand new info for you. If you're really hyped on one or the other, if you can't decide yet, I'm really interested in hearing all these sorts of things. Also, one interesting thing that I'm kind of hoping to hear a little bit from people here and there is, I'm interested to know what people think is going to be the most popular of the two. I'm also interested to hear what people think is going to be the most powerful of the two, from what we've seen so far. And I know those are really hard things to quantify, but I think I hope I hope there's some interesting thoughts out there about it. People are like reading comments and they're like, oh, everyone's gonna be Merchant's Guild and CF's gonna be just dead, or vice versa, or if you think it's gonna be in the middle, or all sorts of things. Interested I am. Will trade factions be available on non-cycle as well? Yes. And also, will cycle 1 start the day of 1.0? Yes. Yeah, there's item factions is a universal feature for all characters. Period. This is also something that's really interesting. Is I've been but I've been reading and watching like everyone who's like leaving reviews and like dropping news videos and things like that, for because I watch way too many ARPG content creators out there. All I've been doing the last couple days is just like watching people's videos that have been cranking out about this, and like it's been so great to listen to them and to talk to people in the forums and everything as well. One thing that I find really interesting is the connection that COF has to Solo cell phone. So right off the bat, COF does not limit you to playing solo cell phone. You can play COF in a group, but like there's this sort of like easy to explain aspect of calling it SSF, because immediately when you say like, oh, there's trade mode and SSF mode, you like that enough will describe to probably 90% of ARPG players 90% of like what's going on here. they don't really need much more to make a decent decision actually. And so it's like it's really cool in that you can't. I do like being able to describe it that quickly and things like that. And there's always a small part of me that's always a little bit concerned that people are like, oh, there's SSF and trade, but what if I like to play with people but I don't like to trade? Like, is there a game mode for me? And it's like, well, yes, there definitely is. And I don't know how many people fall into that category of being a little unsure about it. So yeah, these are the things I worry about. CF all the way. I think I'll probably start playing CF originally. But I'm gonna be doing both for sure. We need to get our boy here some more damage, I think. That's the key thing missing in our build here. Getting our little boy some more damage. Do you really want another helmet? No, my amulet is just garbage for my build here, because I'm like not doing anything with crit, not doing anything with cold damage. Like the 15 health is fine, and the frailty is decent, I guess, but like I've got frailty elsewhere. So we need a new amulet real bad. To like even make a rule here. Oh, there's an amulet. You know what? That might actually be better. We're not struggling for mana, so yeah. Find it. All right. Was there a particular reason for Merchants Guild not to be able to resell? Was that to prevent market flipping, etc.? Yeah, that's a big part of it for sure. We went back and forth on that a lot. For a very long time, we considered items having like charges, like trade charges. Sort of like, okay, this item can be traded like 3 times, and this item can be traded 2 times, and that's like part of the thing of the item when it drops. Or something. And in no small part just due to like simplicity and accessibility of the system. Just saying like, hey, well, things with a faction rank can't be traded. You know, like that's so straightforward and easy to understand, easy to parse. And also just the like you say, the inability to then flip things on the market, which there's already limitations in. You may notice that there are quite a few limitations on trade. It is so much easier to remove a limitation on a trade system than it is to add one. Oh my god. And you know, we're gonna be looking at feedback a ton, like we always do. And I think there's gonna be a lot of very concentrated feedback on both item factions. I can't remember who it was, but someone was like, I think it's gonna take them like a cycle or two to like iron out the bugs and smooth out the rough edges on this to get everyone feeling really good about it. And I think that was right. I can't remember who said that. But yeah, we've had some really good progress with the community tester program, and like I don't think that the item faction system would have landed in a good position, like almost at all, without their help. So like, if you know anyone that's in that program, give them a high five. Yeah. Oh yeah, why is it no reselling things? Yeah, it's a lot of it is the goals of the trading system is more to like allow you to engage with this trading system to like fill out gaps in your build. but we don't want it to. Ooh, 1 LP. That's nice. We don't want it to replace that item hunt. So we still want you to be going out looking for things. And you'll notice there's quite a few things in the Merchant's Guild that encourages you going out looking for things yourself still. And that's one of them. Oh my goodness. I didn't have a cough this morning? And then I don't know, 25 minutes ago, I'm started coughing. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Maybe we're just talking too much. I'll be quiet. Okay, that's boring. Will anything in the store be locked behind cycles, or will all players have the same store? The stores, the bazaar, stock inventory, the bazaar inventory is separated by everything's separated on the same line. Everything's separated on stash lines. So everyone who's playing on hardcore cycle has a bazaar. Everyone who's playing on softcore cycle has a bazaar. Everyone who's playing on hardcore legacy has a bazaar. Everyone who's playing on softcore legacy has a bazaar. And those are the splits, and there's no cross contamination there. Oh my god, sorry. I hope it wasn't muted too long. One of the big things with I don't know if I missed anything. Sorry there. One of the big things with how there's did the split come through? Did me ranting about the split? You hear that? Okay, cool. Oh my goodness. Are there any plans to test out the faction before 1.0? With a system this big, tends to be issues that are missed with mass testing happens. Yeah, so we have a sort of like a closed testing group that we call our community tester program. We usually abbreviate that just CTs. And they have had access to the Bazaar and Merchants Guild since November. It was late November, I think, was when they gained access to it. That was when we realized that through the feedback that Circle of Fortune needed something to... Oh my goodness, the Circle of Fortune needed something to help with customizing what you're seeing because it felt too random. And thus lenses were born. Lenses are a very recent addition. And yeah, so they've had a few months to play with it, and it's really tricky. So we had to populate the bazaar with a bunch of items that don't really that no one posted, right? And we did a reset and had them post all their own items afterwards and things like that. So we've gone through a few stages there. There's been lots of testing that's happened. I just had to turn off my Discord notifications. Yeah, so there's been a fair bit of testing there. it's not been to the same scale that we'll see with, I don't know where I'm going, that we'll see with like when it actually goes live. So like we're gonna have to adjust things for sure, and we're prepared to make those adjustments. We've made sure to, one of the things we made sure really carefully with the item faction system was to build in a bunch of different dials to be able to adjust balance, relative balance, and it's really important that these are there and they work well. The most, I guess, the biggest dial we can turn is the favor costs. And this is sometimes favor costs that are relative to like different favor costs at different ranks within a faction, and also favor costs between relative to each faction back and forth. And these dials, just the favor costs alone, we've got other dials to turn to, but the favor cost is our go-to one, because it really dictates how frequently and how quickly you can engage in any of the mechanics. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I was fine like an hour ago, like completely fine. Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta be right back. Whew, I've already burned through my water for the day. One sec. Oh, I left the microphone on while I walked away. So good. Okay. Get some more questions up in here. Just want to say thank you for having the courage to try something with the factions. A lot of developers could learn from you guys. I think it's really important that we all learn from each other. Like, I've learned so much from other developers. And it's just like getting to talk to them for half an hour in between things at a convention. Well, there's lots of great stuff. We need offensive minion damage. I don't care about our crit, our throw. As a primary SSF player, I cannot express how excited I am to actually have an in-game system tailored to how I prefer to play. I've recently been reading evidence guided by Eterra Gilad? And I'm curious how you think about building confidence in features, especially with how heavily you utilize community feedback and testers. Wow. Track of this unmute thing here. This is a crazy question. This is, I feel like you know a lot more about this than I do. First of all, building confidence in features, especially with how heavily you utilize community feedback and testers. Now, is this like building confidence? Thank you very much. Oh, well, I missed another one too. There's I'm just gonna do this real quick. Psychosis patient. Thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the big release. Me too. And also to Hariel, 32 months in a row. Oh my god. Wow. I feel like you may have done a couple of those while I was offline because I don't remember going that high that fast, but oh my goodness. Hello there indeed. Do a little. Hello there. Building confidence in features. I don't really know how to answer that. I think a lot of it is is being okay with changing it. I think that's a lot of it, is that a lot of our community knows that if something doesn't land, if some feature ends up being bad, if we put something out there that's like it doesn't work, we're not really afraid to say like, well, the best thing for the game is to abandon that or to change it or to restructure it, you know? And it might sound opposite, but I think that actually helps build confidence. COF cough, apparently. Should have joined Merchants Guild. Is the primary focus to have factions balanced against each other so people don't feel compelled to play the stronger one versus the one that speaks to them more? Or will you guys focus more on how long it takes players to acquire certain amounts of gear/power, since Merchants Guild power is somewhat derived from player participation, which will always fluctuate? Wouldn't it make it hard to keep its power level consistent? I think great question. I think that the measure of success for balance between Merchants Guild and Circle of Fortune will be when a new player shows up and says, hey, I don't like, what's better? What's the best one? New player shows up to the Discord and goes, what's better, MG or COF? And it just gets a flood of replies saying, do you want to trade or not? And like, if that happens, I will go, I win! Success! Victory! Yeah, perfect world, they'd be 50-50 split perfectly. It's not going to happen. And that's totally fine. We're not going to try and make it happen. I think there's a pretty significant percentage of players. Let me start with this thing. I think one of them will emerge as the mathematically best option. Oh my god. I'm supposed to go into an escape room tonight. I think one of them will emerge as a mathematically better option. That's totally fine. I think that a large portion of players will just pick whichever one is mathematically better. And that's totally fine too. I hope that most people can pick the theming and the activity they prefer as the primary deciding factor. Our helmet and amulet are so bad right now. Can I like even just like craft this into something useful a little bit? Okay, we don't need chance to find potions. Apparently I can't. Couple decent shards in there. I hope that was a good answer for you. Hope all is well with you. I mean, apart from this like cough that appeared out of nowhere, yeah, great. Just being able to stop by more often. Me too. So I do have a question. Since Ice Thorns is being removed, finally. Oh my god. With the skill. Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. With the skill replace, will the skill replace to be able to synergize with Spriggan Form, aka use it well in Spriggan Form proc of some kind? I don't think so. Someone fact check me on that. All right. Is it how do you know you're building and releasing the right feature? A lot of companies. Oh, I see what this is coming to. This largely based on opinion rather than evidence. And to your point, your attitude of allowing feature to fail and be a big part of the philosophy. It's a great book for learning about product development. If you're into that, I am into that. As far as how do we like pick a feature, like what to come out? Honestly, a lot of it is just like. The vast majority of it is just us kind of like talking about what we want to add to the game, what we generally see people asking for in the game. Like a lot of it is just us talking in a room, being like, "What do we think's best?" There actually is very little like data that goes into it, unless there's very specific things we need to look for data on. So for example, when we were designing the item faction system. A lot of we did several surveys on different platforms, and yeah, the data we got for that was really useful. All right, kind of a follow-up question, I guess. Do you think guys will do mid-cycling balance? Oh, do you think you guys will do mid-cycling balance for the first cycle, or will you try to gather as much data as possible and try to get balance as good as possible for cycle 2 and so on? Since I know that messing with the system mid-cycle can often garner controversy, whether they're buffs or nerfs. Yeah, I think we tried to keep. Oh my goodness, this hurts. I might have to walk away from this and redo this another time. We'll see. Whew. I think it depends on what it is and how extreme it is and how much it affects things. If we see a 95% split on faction balance of adoption, yeah, we'll take some action mid-cycle for sure. Usually the hey, don't nerf me, bro, mid-cycle type idea, it's usually around like specific builds, individual specific builds. And I think if you're looking at the situation of like half the player base or 90% of the player base getting a nerf or something like that, it's less of a big deal. I know it's still not great, but I think it's less of a big deal because you're not getting nerfed relative to someone else. I think that's a big part of it. It's like why did I invest so much time in this when I could have just gone the other one? And if it still is, if there's only 2 options, and it's still the one you want, and it's still really good, but maybe just not as unbelievably broken, dominant, overpowered, I think it'll be a lot easier of a pill to swallow. Oh my goodness. Cough candy is doing nothing. We can make some honey. Yeah, not a bad idea. Yeah, what are people thinking? Who's hyped for Merchant's Guild? Actually, no, here's a better question. Who, after reading this, changed their mind on what they thought they'd want? Like if you've never heard of the system at all before, or you looked at the previous version and this new version's changed your mind or something like that. Or is there no way you could ever be swayed? Yeah, I guess everyone who is playing SSF is kind of locked in. Secret hard mode, SSF Merchant's Guild. It's lonely in this bazaar. Follow-up question: since Spring and Form is losing a skill synergy with Ice Thorn's removal, you said the new skill won't be able to synergize with the Spring and Form. Any intention to add another skill that can synergize with Spriggan, otherwise Spriggan getting nerfed in build diversity? I don't think there's anything for 1.0, but I think you can be confident that something will happen there. Yeah. I apologize to answer this question already. That's totally fine. Will we be able to play solo self-found for a set amount of time and then taken my findings over to trade faction? If no, what's the point of items in my inventory in self-found faction? So just to be clear, I just want to reiterate this. There is no self-found faction. Circle of Fortune, you can completely play with other people. You can even get items found by other people with Circle of Fortune. It is not a strictly solo self-found environment. You could hypothetically be in a situation where you never played solo and never found any of your own gear. You know, like that's a little ridiculous, but it's possible. I just want to break that up a little bit first. The gear you find, I'll break this up as well a little bit more. Do not, I'm saying this as advice. One player to another advice. Someone who knows the system really well. If I was going to give you advice at all, is do not plan to switch factions. If you think, okay, I'm going to start here, I'm going to start Circle of Fortune, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to switch to Merchant's Guild and do this. Just start Merchant's Guild. And just flip everything I just said, and it's the same thing. Like, don't plan to switch. It will not be better. You'll be better off just starting with the one you're going to switch to. Please trust me on this one. However, the reason why is the switch even there? What's the point of it, Mike? It's a release valve, so people don't break their characters. It is a safety net, so people who maybe aren't sure what they want and make a bad choice don't have to start all over again, can just start faction progress over again. That's all. Now to answer your actual question here. The gear you find as a Circle of Fortune member that was affected by one of your Circle of Fortune bonuses is tagged with a Circle of Fortune rank requirement. This is the same thing as like how this gear says it requires class Sentinel. Like requires class Sentinel. It's the exact same thing. It'll be like requires, it doesn't actually say it's a little icon, but it'll be the same thing as if it said required COF rank 4. Like, if you're not COF rank 4, you can't use it. If you're not a Sentinel, you can't use this. It's easy as that. So if you find a piece of gear while you're representing Circle of Fortune, and it uses your Circle of Fortune rank to bonus to get that gear, it'll have a little tag on it that says required Circle of Fortune rank. It's a symbol, sorry, not words, but yes. And then if you then switch your character to Merchant's Guild, that item does not change. That item still has a Circle of Fortune rank requirement. As you've just switched to Merchant's Guild and you're not actively representing Circle of Fortune, you can't use that item anymore. You actually have to unequip your items to change factions. Should be like a sweat lodge or something. That'd be funny. Oh, glad the microphone was muted for that. Where are we? We're doing things. We're talking about stuff. It's going great. Have you seen all the positive reactions to your trade, no trade announcement? I've seen a ton of them. I haven't seen all of them. But I'm really terrible about... I read and watch way too many reactions to our game. I just can't help myself. I watch them all, I read them all, it's all I do. And I try so hard not to. But yesterday and today it feels real good. Usually it's very positive anyways, but like I have a tough time not, every time I see a mistake or something, I have a tough time not just like immediately reacting and correcting people. I have to learn to just let it be. The new areas from the trade videos look really great. Will we be seeing more updates to existing areas and bring that quality? Yes, definitely. Not every zone is completely updated, but yes, that is going through, and we are using, we have a bunch of new tools for zone development that make it look way better, and we're using those tools all over the place. See a question that says SSF has better drop rates, right? No, SSF does not have better drop rates. SSF has exactly the same drop rates as normal. However, if you are selecting the Circle of Fortune item faction, you will have improved drop rates and extra tools to target specific gear better. Which is what you should pick if you're playing Solo Zone. I know I'm being super pedantic about this, but I'm going to keep making the correction every single time just in case. Can you go no faction to really show how good you are with top the boards? Yeah. You can have a non-faction character. It's gonna suck. See, what is SSF? Solo self-found. It means that so SSF is a term that's used to describe a character that has never and will never party with another character, so they're alone in the world. And self-found means all of the gear they found, all the gear they're using, they found themselves. So you play by yourself, you use your own gear. It's basically like playing offline. Oh. I need some more liquid. I got some close. Beer back. Hello. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. New info about factions. Hello. Good to see you again. Although, after looking at it, it feels to me like COF have gained a bit more content too with prophecies, while MG only has the Bazaar, which I can't really call content. That's it. Close the door with your foot. It's so cold here right now. It is insane. Can't really call content. To be honest, I'm not sure if this is a problem, but is there any chance that we get more of these types of content for each faction, or is that already considered finished? I would say generally fairly finished. But I don't want to close the door on the possibility for changes based on feedback. So we don't have any plans to add more stuff to the item factions mechanically. We do have plans to add more factions. That will be, this is something I went over previously, but like factions that will be mutually exclusive with each other, but not mutually exclusive with the item factions. So maybe you'll get like a, I don't know, there'll be a hat faction and a, I don't know, a hairstyle faction. Making stuff up. And they'd be mutually exclusive with each other, but not with the item factions. Oh my goodness. And yeah, the lenses were a late addition. A very late addition. Do you think you'll do a stream either by yourself or with others before 1.0, where you play with the factions, kind of check out 1.0? I don't think I'll do a stream, a 1.0 stream before a 1.0. I don't know, maybe. We haven't talked about doing anything like that. I will say one thing we are planning on Wednesday. Wednesday coming up, I'll be doing an interview with Darth Microtransaction and Gazzy on their podcast. Very excited about that. I will make sure my voice doesn't suck for that. So I got a question about resonances. Will the resonators, is that what they're called? Calling them resonators? Is that a thing? I'm just gonna check real quick if we changed the name on me and I just don't know this. No resonances. Okay, resonance. Great. I'm not crazy. Will the resonances always be tied to a specific player name? Yes. Or can I get one with one friend, hold on to it until my other friend comes online, then use it to give my now online friend the item? Will it only work with friends? It like when it drops with a specific person. This name resonates with Carbaruscu. That can never change. Once this item drops and it shows this name, that is the name it will always have. Once this item drops and it has this name, that's the name it will always have. In TFT, we scream Warthog when something bad happens. Who can I scapegoat when I mess up in LE? I was gonna say Gregory, but can't say Gregory. Blame me if you want. I'm fine with that. I don't know. I'm sure other people in the community have a better answer for that though. Anyone, if you do have a question, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question, or else I won't answer it. I just don't see it either. But I do see one here. Oh, someone else answered that. How will base drop rates be changed from live version today to accommodate those systems? It seems like they need to be more than halved. They're not being more than halved. I can't give you a specific number. I think we'll have specific numbers available in patch notes, but they're not fully 100% locked down yet. Generally, what I like to say is that you'll be, by the time you hit rank 3 in Circle of Fortune, you will have surpassed the current item acquisition rate. The current, like the rate that you find upgrades on your gear. Where have I been going? I'm just like running around in circles. I'm like not even remotely close to going the right direction. I just started walking when I started this. That's hilarious. Maybe I completed a quest and just didn't even notice. No matter. Going to the Oasis, boys and girls. So yeah, we are going to nerf drop rates a little bit from where they are on live right now. We're not cratering them. It's still going to feel roughly similar as you're leveling through the campaign. For like experienced players. Like it'll be a little bit less. It'll be a little bit slower. You'll get to Circle of Fortune. You'll unlock that. You'll start ranking up. You'll get into early monoliths. You'll be about normal where you are now. You'll hit that rank 3 pretty quickly. You'll be a little bit ahead of where you are now. And it's all gravy from there. Oh yeah, claim that shield. Though I have to say, if it takes too long to level up Merchant Guild, I think people will complain. I agree. I'm going Fortune, so I don't care, but I think people who want to trade don't want to grind for hours to be able to do so freely. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with, like, we are trying to curate the points in your character's development process that you're getting certain item types as core components to your build in most situations. So we really want to avoid the situation where someone gets to they hit early monoliths and maybe they've got enough stuff saved up to get their best in slot amulet. And they buy that amulet. And now this item slot is locked off for the rest of like the time they're gonna play for the next like 50 hours or 200 hours or whatever. You know, like that item slot just doesn't exist on their character. We'd like that not to happen ideally. We'd like to be more along the lines of, oh, you got to this point and maybe you bought a sweet amulet on the bazaar, but you know, like 3-4 ranks down the line, you'll be able to now buy this other amulet. It's even better, and it's just like a little bit more of a progressive process, and it's not just like, here you go, everything's free, have fun. It sounded bad the way I said that, but having those limitations, I think, is going to make the the gearing process feel like a process that's like, I'm describing this so bad right now. Feel like a like an activity, something that you're making progress in, something that you are like earning, I guess is a good way to put it. And like if there are problems with these, if these aren't hitting the goals we're looking for, if there's things that are wrong with it, you know, we are not afraid to discuss that and to make changes if we need to, and you know, all those things. So if you're playing and you don't like something and you want to suggest changes, you know, like that's fantastic. I don't know, mostly over that. Just great. Tell us about it. It's also, and I said this earlier, it's also a lot easier to remove limitations from a system like this than it is to add new ones. So if we find that like, oh, there's no point in having I don't know, some limitation. Like, so originally we had a maximum number of slots that you could sell items in. That was actually a key part of it for a long time. It was like you can only sell 5 items at a time. And we got a bunch of feedback that wasn't very fun. So we pulled it. And it doesn't look like there's any negative consequences to that. One thing I would have really liked to be able to do is increase the, I guess, like, designness, like the depth and complexity of the bonuses that Merchant's Guild is getting. That would have been nice. How's the extra question load and Acid has been fine? It's been good. I was prepared for it. Are gear drop rates changing from current live versions to the 1.0 version to account for faction additions? Will it'll just be the same factions, just add to it. Yeah, we are dropping the initial base drop rates a little bit. Been a while since I kept up with LE. What with the non-trading faction Fortune? Will I still be able to trade with my friends who I play with a lot that are also Fortune? Yeah, so we're kind of trying to we're differentiating the terms here, and this is really key. So every time we say the word trade, we are specifically referencing the bazaar and the person-to-person trading that is available through the Merchant's Guild. So you cannot trade as Circle of Fortune. However, we do have another term called gifting, and if you want to transfer an item from one player to another as Circle of Fortune or Merchant's Guild players, you may do so through the gifting system. So if you and your buddy are playing along and you're both Circle of Fortune, it's not actually important, but in the scenario that you've described, and an item drops for you that's really good, an item drops for your friend that's really good, but you don't want it, you can just hand it to them. You're both there together, you drop roll, you're both together, give it to them, no problem, have fun. If say they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go I'm gonna go out to the store and grab a bite to eat and I'll be back in half an hour, you keep playing, and while they're gone, the absolutely most perfect 4 LP item ever for their build drops, and you can't believe it because you weren't playing together, so you can't just gift it to them anymore. Don't worry, there's something called resonances. Resonances are granted to you after playing a significant amount of time with a specific person, any specific person, and it allows you to make an item behave as though they were there when it dropped. Basically, is what it is. So like, say you really wanted this, and we play a lot together. So I've got a resonance for you now because we've been playing a bunch together, and I can then give this to you by using that resonance. They're single use items, but once. Yeah, so I can send this item to you because we play a bunch together, and there you go. There you go. Have fun. So yeah, you're golden. Thank you for answering the previous question. You're welcome. Based on your own research and data, do you think you guys have enough uniquely different items to sustain training economy? Plans for more items seem like a stupid question. Like of different items that people will want. Yeah, I think there's plenty. I think that really comes down to build variety. Really, I think that's what we would do pretty well. Like there's a post I saw on Reddit. There's a few posts that have been coming out recently that I quite like, and if anyone here is making them, keep up, keep the good work. And they're just little infographics. Images. Here we go. Open it up. So like this is just for hit builds. But there's a lot of different affixes all over the place that are quite useful. But not so much. My point is that because there's enough things here that are just even like generally good things to have for these. There's going to be a lot of variation on those items and on the builds that are going to pick from those lists even better. And you know, I think it's going to work out really well. We do have. I don't think we would ever use this because I think it's a little ridiculous to do because it kind of defeats the whole purpose. But we've used it for testing, and I mean, maybe it's possible we could, if things were dire enough, we could try and use it. It's just generating fake items for it. Now there's a better item to craft with. Forge potential's kind of low. That was a big hit. That's too bad. Yeah, that's really too bad. There was potential there. There was real potential. We got unlucky. Is it better anyways? It's hard to say. That shield throw point and the extra endurance is really good. Minion damage already. Those resonances to gift to friends only drop while actively playing with that person, right? Yes. You need to be actively playing with and have been playing with that person for a while for it to drop. And it's pretty natural. There's no need to like try and game the system with that. Like you're not gonna there's no like slot machine logic. Like, oh, it's been a while since it's popped. Gotta stay here until it does or anything like that. Will dungeon arena keys be able to stack in the future? Yes. At 1.0? No, sorry. How big of a tune should we expect for Hydrohesion in 1.0? I do not know. I'm sorry. I also generally don't comment on potential upcoming balance changes. But if I was gonna guess, just from like as a player, I would say that there will be likely a small nerf. Would be my expectation. We'll see what happens though. Let me throw you an easy question. Oh, thanks, buddy. What will be your first build to play 1.0? I want to know class, mastering the skill you plan to build around. I'm gonna start. I've not been shy about most of this. I'm gonna play Rogue, Falconer, Redacted. Sorry, I can't tell you the name of the skill. We would get in trouble because we promised people we wouldn't. No, we've because all the big reveal for Warlock and Falconer info is initially dropping on Icy Veins and Max Roll. So until those big things drop, we're radio silent on details. You know, they do so much to like promote the game, and you know, they're great people to have a good relationship with. I do not want to betray that trust. That's too bad. It's so funny. I'm so used to crowns. I'm so used to crowns being like a paladin item in D2 that every time I see a crown item, I'm always like, I always assume it's a paladin item in Epoch. So it's just one of those things my brain can't give up. The cold is freezing Mike's lungs. I mean, it hasn't been this cold here in like I literally cannot remember how long. I had to go to the store this morning, and everyone who lives in somewhere that's like actually cold is gonna look at me like, obviously, Mike, come on, don't you know how to do this? What is wrong with you? The key for my car, the clicker the key fob, the button thing, the battery died like 6 months ago, and I just haven't bothered to do it because I don't use that car very often. And so I go to unlock it, and the lock, like the key just like won't turn in the lock at all of the key of the door of the key. Oh, the door of the car. And so I'm just like, well, I guess I'm not going out. And I got the idea I've got like a heat gun. And so I go and I get this like the longest extension cord I have. Of course the car's like on the road, and like the extension cord barely reaches, and I'm like heating up the side of the car with the heat gun. Eventually get like the lock to turn. Oh, it was ridiculous. Never seen that happen before.
Good day, traveler.
I was so worried I was gonna break off the key inside the lock. And because of the way the car was parked, I could only unlock the passenger side door that way. So it does unlock all the doors and everything, but the keyhole on the driver's side door was still so frozen that when I got to the store, I had to lock the car by walking around to the passenger side, and when I got back to the car, I had to like unlock it from the passenger side and then walk around. The whole thing. Felt like a bit of an idiot this morning. What level do you think we will hit rank 3 if we just play normal? I don't know. I'll guess. I'll give you a guess and say 65. And someone from CT program is going to be like, no, Mike, you idiot, that's wildly wrong. Cool, listen to them. They know more. We changed a lot of that stuff recently, and I haven't actually played this week yet since we changed all that. This is another. We lowered a bunch of it because we were getting feedback that it was just taking too long. I thought the factions seemed equally attractive before even seeing prophecies. Any plans to add more incentives for Merchants Guild? Nothing specific at the moment. The ability to trade and have access to this gigantic pool of items that everyone's using is so crazy powerful. That it's really hard to put any sort of mechanical fun in there that isn't that doesn't require also nerfing the ability to use the Merchants Guild. You know, like if there's or feel like we did explore some of these things, but like the other option is that they will feel like a useless extra step. You know, so it's kind of like it's either nerf the base trade functionality in order to add another mechanic on top that makes it better again. Or kind of, I don't know, just make it trade, but with even more extra steps. None of it really fit well. How do you keep yourself from correcting wrong information when it means leaking something? Yeah. I live with it being wrong out there. It sucks. Yeah, Kane, you are in the same cold, aren't you? We live surprisingly close to each other. It's a possibility I might be moving to your town, actually. Is there a gold cap on selling an item in the Merchants Guild? I think so, yes. In that players have a gold cap. So, what, like 2 trillion or something? With a T. I think. Can you say if the difficulty will go up to adjust to players acquiring items more easily with the factions? Kinda. We are increasing the yes, but not specifically just because of that. I think that's the best way to put it. We are increasing the difficulty that each rank, each point of corruption brings. So we have a table for this that shows good benchmarks and makes it easy to understand. But like 300 corruption now is going to be harder than 300 corruption was before. And it's mostly based around end game difficulty changes, not campaign difficulty changes. What is your favorite monster design? Also, which mob do you enjoy destroying the most? Favorite monster design. I think it's gonna be the one where when you kill it, its face comes out as another enemy, the snake that appears. Visual design, I think that's my favorite. Just like the theming and how cool it looks and all sort of stuff. I think that's top of the list for me. I enjoy actually destroying the eyes, the immortal eyes, the most, just because there's that like, I don't know, there's that tension of like, oh, can you beat it before the explosion goes off? It feels like trying to outspeed an electrode or something, you know? Like old Pokemon. So yeah, it's. Yeah. Please remember to tag me. Yeah, please remember to tag me in your messages, because I will skip over it. If I did skip over your message, I apologize. It was not intentional or out of malice. Please feel free to repost it. I will try and answer it. I'll read this one right above that I think it might have been talking about. Are there any plans to make leveling alts easier and quicker through the campaign? So kind of we've done a few things recently to help with this. Most notably is that when you have a like this item, this is not the example I was going to use, but it's fine. This is a Weaver's Will item. This is a level 18 item. Look at that thing, level 18, 174 health on it. That's huge. Legendaries and Weaver's Will items no longer take their level from the legendariness of them and keep their base unique level. So you can make some pretty epic, like I was to take this level 23 Exsanguinous and put a big exalted mod on it. Its level would stay 23. So at level 23, you could use that big exalted mod on your legendary Exsanguinous, and like that's huge. So that was a change we made very recently with the last patch. That helps with leveling a lot, especially at leveling alts. We are looking to improve. It hasn't really been finished yet. The dungeons as an alt campaign skip system for leveling more powerful alts and things like that. We're looking at ways to improve the monolith experience for alt characters. So like, and once again, this is stuff that's not fully ready to go for 1.0. This is stuff we're looking at. This is stuff we're designing. But having a way where when you get to that like unlocking empowered faster on alts, things like that. Like there's a lot of little things that we're working on to make that alt experience a little bit smoother. Some of them are kind of weird, but they do the job really well, and they're fun. So, looking forward to 1.0? Me too. The cycle is done. Will cycle mechanic move to standard league? So initially, we're actually releasing the cycle mechanics in standard right away. I'm not even gonna wait. Just because we know that they are things that we're gonna want in standard no matter what. They're so big, they're so core to the gameplay and how it works that there's just no point in waiting. So yes, this is something that will change cycle to cycle. This is something that we'll reevaluate and listen to feedback on and all that sort of stuff. Initially anyways, like I know 1.0 and 1.1 is really all I'm gonna say definitively. 1.0 and 1.1 will have their major mechanical things and stuff be cycle and legacy simultaneously on their launch. It's possible that we might look into having some small things that are cycle exclusives, starting as early as 1.1. We don't have any plans for them right now, but that's something that may happen. And I say small things like maybe there's a unique item, that's like cycle only, but I'm not talking about like a whole system, at least not right now. That's the sort of thing that will probably when the game's a little bit more established. Maybe it's a couple years from now. We've got a sweet stable of really core mechanics that are feeling well. They're polished. They're hitting the right notes, and we've got something kind of wild to try. And we're like, this might be fun, but this might ruin a lot of stuff. That's the point that we'll start being like, okay, well, this is a cycle only mechanic. And all of this is very subject to change based on feedback and results from gameplay and all this sort of stuff. But the big thing that's really important to us is that we want to avoid, at least initially, we really want to avoid having multiple game environments to maintain. It's just something that extra time, effort, and resources that we have to put into maintaining two fun, balanced, functional environments. It does take away from other things we can do. So like if we do that, suddenly we're adding less each patch. Suddenly we're not spending as much time testing individual features. Like there's lots of things that it's always like we've got a finite number of hours between patches to work on the game. And how can we be most efficient with that? Can I ask about character creation for a sec? Absolutely. Is it a possibility we'll ever get a chance get classes of either gender or small character customization, or maybe an MTX that achieves the same? Yes. I think that there is a. So I'll start right off with this saying 1.0 will not have any character customization whatsoever. There will not be any additional genders added to the character creation screen for 1.0. 1.0, the character creation is almost identical to what we have now. There's there's a new drop down and a new checkbox at the end, but are just like different cycle selection options. It's like cycle or legacy, and a new SSF option. Like that's all that is. But as for like what your character looks like, how your character plays, all that sort of stuff is not changing between the way it is now and 1.0 as far as character creation is concerned. Be super clear about that, because I've had to correct a few of those in the last week, specifically yesterday a lot, which was weird. There were a couple answers yesterday on Reddit that were like really confident, like yes it's happening, and other people being like oh great, like a conversation stems out of it, and I'm like I have to show up and be like oh no it's not. However, character customization is something that we know that a not insignificant portion of our community needs, and I use the term need intentionally because I think as far as they're concerned it is a need, if they're going to play the game anyways, and so we do want to deliver this feature for them. This is something that we've wanted to do for a while. It's just not something that we have the capability of delivering on in a way that we're happy with the quality for 1.0. I ideally like if I had a magic spell that said implement character customization, yes I would read that spell and we'd have it. But it's really just a priority issue right now. It's how much does it cost, how much benefit are we going to get from it, and compare that to adding pinnacle bosses. Like would you rather be able to, and this answer is a serious question because it's going to be different for a lot of people. Would you rather us add pinnacle bosses to the game, or would you rather us add character customization and gender options to the game? And for a lot of people that's a really easy question in either direction. And for some people that's actually hard to answer. So it's like, and that might be a little confusing to some people, and that's fine too. But my point is that well, I should answer the question, shouldn't I? Yes, we're looking at doing it eventually. No, it will not come to 1.0, and it probably won't be through MTX. It'll be a like just anyone can do it. Yeah, part of character creation. There'd be like we haven't discussed this, so I don't know, but there would be some way to modify it as well after the fact. Like I don't know, maybe it's some vendor in game that you talk to and you can go get a haircut. This is the hair and the hat factions I was talking about earlier, right? Huh? Yeah, it's all coming together. Don't worry, guys. Sorry if that was loud. I just hit the microphone arm. Feel like a little Charlie Kelly action going on here. So let's see what's going on here. Sorry, a little carried away. Will alts benefit from faction perks right away, or will alts have to wait until they unlock it during the campaign? the alts will need to unlock access to the faction and join the faction in order to gain the benefits from the faction. However, because I can hear you saying, but Mike, Chapter 9's a long way off for an alt to get these bonuses, right? You're right. If you have a character, so everything's separated by stashes. So if you're playing cycle, softcore, just like the most default standard play character you can imagine, and you play through, you unlock your faction, you start playing with that, it's great, you're having fun, you're like, I want to make an alt. You make an alt of the same type, like the same softcore cycle character, because another character from that same cycle data shares a stash with it, already has factions unlocked, that character will be given the option to pick a faction in the first town. So we're talking chapter 1 here. You're getting faction unlocked. So alts will have access to those bonuses and will level easier because of that as well. Oh, I am far behind. I'm about 18 minutes behind here. Sorry. 16 minutes behind. I can math. I'll try to be quicker. Whereabouts are you for it to be that cold? For lock to freeze? I live in Canada. I live in a part of Canada where it never gets that cold, but somehow it's that cold here. Welcome, Benisol. Hey, brother, welcome over. I saw you were streaming. Hope you're having fun. Welcome. We're just talking about trade stuff here. Any plans to ramp up the game's mob density? Maybe lowering some of the game's cooldowns to let games be a little more fast-paced and frantic. I wasn't even looking at my character. Also, can we please get a damaging aura skill that permanently on? Definitely not referring to Righteous Fire, definitely. So there are things... there are Righteous Fire-like abilities. It's not quite the same. Orb Decay... Fire Aura, stuff like that. Like there's you can get a lot of that gameplay style. Maelstrom, there's versions of those that don't require too much management. But we really do like to build in, I guess, rewards for making good decisions. And what I mean by rewards for making good decisions, I don't mean like rewards for picking the build we want you to pick. I mean rewards for being in combat and deciding, oh, I'm gonna do A or B and making a good decision that way in combat. And generally builds that don't have that are just like 0 or 1 button builds have less of that for sure. And that's not to say they're bad or wrong or we want to remove them or anything like that, but just we do often look to add mechanics that reward active gameplay, and because we just add more of those in general, you end up with like accidental synergies and incidental buffs and things like that. So you end up with generally more powerful builds, just like naturally it happens. But yes, there are things like that. And that was the other one, mob density. We've been ramping up mob density for a few patches now, and it's been going great. And we're still going to do it more and more. For the in-game shop, will the supporter packs change with 1.0? Yes, they will change with 1.0. We got new packs coming. Can you double check me on that? Now for the important question, what is your favorite 2-color and 3-color combinations in Magic the Gathering? Oh god. My favorite 2-color combination is easy. It is it. I am red-blue all the way, all day, every day. My favorite 3-card combination is much trickier. 3-color combination is much trickier. I think it's probably Esper. White, blue, black. Big fan. I swear I'm not a control mage. Why not allow friends to just make small guilds to trade between instead of extra system to gate trading among friends? We almost did that. We came very close to doing that. We had a name for it. We had a design document for it. We came really close to doing that. The answer to that question is like a month of discussions. But the short answer, the really short answer is that it's the only way we could make it so that there wasn't some really obvious and dramatic abuse cases that just enabled free trade. In order to not enable free trade with something like that, the amount of the amount of restrictions we had to put on it were like makes the amount of restrictions we put on trade now just tiny, and it didn't feel good. That's basically what it comes down to. If we were able to be like, all right, now nobody abused the system, and everyone listened to us, yeah, we probably would have done that. 999 million is the cap as far as you know. Oh, it's for gold, sounds like. So is this an actual official Last Epoch developer channel? It is. I am a senior developer for 11th Hour Games. I work on Last Epoch. I have been working on Last Epoch for 6 years now, roughly. Give or take 6 months. I don't actually know when I started. I've got a Reddit message saved actually from the first time I contacted Jed, which is pretty cool. Yes, I am. I've been here not quite since the very beginning, but like real close. Oh, this is my credentials. Okay, let me then ask something, please. I have many questions, but I ask one doable here. Why the decision of going Twitch drops? I mean, we got a huge number of people asking us to, and we thought it was a way to support our streamer community. That's kind of what it boils down to, is that we've got tons of really awesome streamers that are a huge part of why we've made it this far, is these people that that promote our game for us because they like it, and they share it with their communities, and these are people that we want to in turn we want to turn around and drive traffic back to their channels and their communities, so that they say, hey, Ichi's got our back too, and that's a huge part of it. And also we just get a lot of people asking us for them, like just people who say, hey, I want free cosmetics, and we're like, okay, yeah. I know not everyone likes it, and I know not everyone has access to it, and we tried to make it as accessible as possible by adding in that extra, like the second session for it. But like we know it's not gonna be perfect for everyone. I just think that this is gonna be the way to get the most people involved as possible. Yeah. You got more questions? Please feel free. But yeah, I'm trying to catch up here, I swear. Will you implement a move to right click, and if so, when? Maybe. I would say there's a good chance, but we've got some changes we've got to make to our input system to make it be possible. All I can say is not even 1.1. It won't even be done by 1 point. I can say that pretty confidently, if assuming we do it. .1 would be early, would be very early, and I don't know if we're doing it. Oh, look at how much I could start crafting on. All right, noob question. Love noob questions. In a small. Spanish? You're a small Spanish streamer. Cool. Are Twitch drops going to be available for everyone that streams, or are you guys going to select a few streamers to have them? I believe I don't know is the short answer to this. You should send a message to our support channel, to our support on our support site. There is a contact us forum. You should send a message there to talk about it. As far as I know, basically, if we haven't been in touch with you yet about it, you don't have access to Twitch drops, I think. I'll be honest though, I've never set up Twitch drops before, and I don't know how they work from the back end. And I'm not the one doing it this time either, luckily for all of you. So yeah, contact us through more. And I see right after Kane has answered this better than I did. Okay, there's gonna be more. Sorry, there's gonna be more information coming on how to sign up for it. Wait for that info. Sorry. Thank you, Kane. Any plans for new Pinnacle bosses for release? No, not for release. That is something that we are looking at doing. I've been really in deep personally with designing boss fights and things like that. I've been just jotting them down on, like, in the evening, just sitting on my phone, just like writing down boss ideas, things like that. I've been doing a lot of exercises up here about it recently. So we are, and it's not just me. It's lots of we have started working on it, but they're not. There's none for 1.0 yet, unfortunately. We really wanted to. It's just the polish won't be there, and we've got it. We hit a point where we're like, cutting features and having the features we have show up with fewer bugs is we decided was better, basically. Questions. Hey guys, will it be a balanced patch too with 1.0? Yes. We balance every patch. Are you playing any other games other than Last Epoch currently? Yeah, I'm kind of always a little bit playing Civ 6. That's sort of my like mindless go-to. Just slap on some Civ 6, have some fun. Lately, I've been playing. I just finished my time at Sandrock. It's good. I've been really getting into randomizers for classic Zelda games. Fight that. Kick my butt. So I've been playing like we've gotten quite good at Link to the Past randomizer. And I've been playing Ocarina of Time randomizer now, which I'm not very good at yet. I thought I would be way better at it. I'm like, I know this game inside and out, no problem. Here we go. My goodness. Trying to do it like without guides, without glitches and things like that. Yeah, I might start looking some stuff up here. One more, or for more QOL, things like blessing system, mini rework. You guys were talking about the Gamescom interview. Do you think things like that could be added mid-cycle, or you guys hold off for real changes to the game until cycle launches? It'll be cycle launches. We've heard about LE aiming for a sweet spot between PoE and D4. Any comment on that? Yeah, I don't know if we... So it doesn't necessarily need to be specifically a sweet spot between D4 and PoE. Like, if one of them were to change what they were going for, we wouldn't be like, all right, we need to adjust so we're in between them still, or something like that. But yeah, the style of things that we are going for does land in between the two pretty well. And so I think that is a good way to describe the type of gameplay that you should expect from us. Something that's maybe a little bit more depth and complexity than I would say more depth and complexity than PoE, more depth and complexity than Diablo offers, and a little bit less muchness than what PoE has. Not a bad way of putting it. It's not a bad idol. It's terrible for us. How huge is the listing for MTX stuff be in 1.0? How many new MTX items are we getting in 1.0? It's not that big. There's a chunk of new ones that are sweet, but it's not. I don't honestly, I don't know all of the items, but it's not like there's 100 new items that came or something like that. Like, no, that's way too many. We're just slowly adding MTX to the store as we make it. Yeah. It's coming along. It's coming along. Are you guys going to base the game into seasons like PoE with achievements and rewards? Yeah. Yeah, I think PoE has shown that there's has shown this model is fantastic for like primarily from player enjoyment standpoint. I think that you can do it in such a way that people just have a ton of new stuff to do and play with and fun to have. It's just kind of a win. There's a few little things that were like, okay, maybe we can't deliver on this aspect as well as they can, but hey, because we can do this better, we'll do that a little bit differently. And so like it's not like we're copying things one-to-one exactly, but I think they kind of proved that the general style works really well, and we'll put our own spin on it. Please don't forget to put at Last Epoch Game in your question, or I will scroll right past it. Will you be able to see other players in your guild hubs? Yes. So the in the various faction hubs, the Observatory and the Bazaar, they act as town zones. So they have increased maximum player capacity and no skills in there. And no enemies. You can't die in there. Yes, I don't think it's a way to kill yourself. Like, you can't die in there. Oh, but you can aura decay into that. Oh, but there's no skills. You can't use skills in there. So that's what that was. Will you be able to see other players? Oh, yeah, it's that. How is the studio doing financially? Is there going to be paid expansions? So I don't have hard numbers in front of me or anything like that. But we're doing well. We're happy with where we're sitting. We're as a smaller game studio, like I said, medium game studio now. Making this game, things are looking solid. We're pleased with where we are. Other general positive comments about this sort of thing. When we do add more content to the game, one of the things, this is something we decided a long time ago, one of the things that's really important to us is not to split our game community based on which expansions you purchased. In the like a la WoW, for example, which does split them based on that, and that system works fantastic for that game. MMOs are a different beast than RPGs, so I'm not saying that's bad or anything. But just the way that RPGs work in general, it's we don't think that style will work quite as well for us as a cyclical content release that is not paid. So you do not need to how is this? You don't need to buy, like, we're gonna add supporter packs each time there's a cycle release. There'll be new ways, new things to buy, stuff like that, but you don't need to buy any of it. The only in order to play the game with full access to all the features and do stuff with all your friends, all you have to do is buy the base game one time, and that's it. If your buddy has paid $1 million and you've paid $35, you will have the exact same functionality, quality of life, and maximum potential for power as each other. I hope that was as clear and all-encompassing as possible. If I miss anything, let me know. Are there any nerfs coming to Shadow Daggers on release? I don't know. They're still quite strong, but they're not as ubiquitous as they were before. I try really hard not to comment on potential upcoming balance changes on stream. If I had to guess, if it was going to have any changes, I would guess there would be some light nerfs if I was going to guess on any changes. But I do not know. A lot of that stuff happens in the last month or so. Or basically in the last month or so anyways. So yeah, well, I guess it's going to be happening soon. Wow, Mike's waiting on the chats. Yeah, sorry. I'm bad at that. I can go to town and just do like a speed round. Let's do that. Well, hope everything is going to go nice on release. Me too. And that it will release as planned. Me too. Any plans for future improvements to controller support? Absolutely. 1.0 will be coming with controller support improvements. It won't end there. Our controller is considered a primary control scheme for us, so we do intend to maintain it. And you know, it's when we're designing new things, when we're like, okay, we want to add this. Okay, how is controller gonna look with? Like, how's that gonna work with controller? Oh, that node won't work well with controller. It's one node. Is that okay? I don't know. You know, controller is an important part of the game for us, and it will continue to be that. Wait, was that my melee crit stats? Did I just read that? Or did I say minion? Yeah. I'm just a moron. Yeah. Oh, where am I? This is why you shouldn't stream and play, kids. No, I'm just kidding. Technical thoughts on the Druid totem build that replaces the healing totems as fast as possible to deal damage. Technical thoughts. It was a pain to set up. I remember that. Sorry, I'm not showing the question. Re-ask that one, please. B3473R. Better? Beater? Ah, I got there. Thank you for graciously answering all the questions. Can't wait for 1.0. You're welcome. I hope they've been good answers for you. Imagine the main Twitch channel not set up for Twitch drops on launch. I don't know if we're gonna be streaming. Like usually, so here's the thing: is usually we don't stream at launch, because we know that it because it's an official channel for it, it attracts a lot of attention away from the streamers who rely on big events like a launch to have like good streams and you know, like that's part of their revenue and stuff like that. So usually we don't stream around times like that, or if we do, it'll be like limited, or we'll warn them and be like, we're streaming here this time, heads up. But yeah, I probably won't be streaming during Twitch drops. Gotta go to the good creators, not little old me. Okay, here's one. When cycle is starting or seasons, will they last for 3 months or 4 months? Hopefully 4 months, but we don't have a set time for them yet. We do have, so we've got a plan. We've got like okay, like 1.1, we're aiming this day. 1.2, we're aiming this day. But like, what happens at 1.0 can change that, and you know, like the feedback we get, all that's flexible. So we don't have a set hard date. The only thing I will say is that you are roughly in and around the right general timing that we're going to use. How is the bug fixing going? Very well. Our void themed echo is playable again without massive FPS drop. Yes, as far as I know. Do projectiles manage to connect again? I eat javelins. There's I don't know all the I don't know all the status of all the bugs. There's a lot of them. A lot of them are getting fixed. I've been fixing some. A lot of other people have been fixing a lot of other ones. I don't keep a close eye on every single bug, so I don't know. I'm sorry. Those are very big bugs and would be high on the list. You can still do an Ocarina of Time randomizer every 2 weeks. Used to be every week. You should do a multi-random, an OT. Yeah, I'd do an OT randomizer night or something like do a race, set up with the same seed across multiple people and do like a race night. I would so do that. Sounds like fun. Sign me up. Right after I die here. I am not good enough to do this. I will not beat Majasa like this. There's just no way. Zero chance. I need way more poison res. 45. That's gotta be like 80 or 90 at least. Maybe even more. That's a bug. That's weird. It didn't tell me where it took the point out of. Supposed to tell me where I took the point out of. Should be able to figure it out though. It's probably this. Yeah, it'll be this one. You can tell because it is, and this is gonna sound ridiculous. If you start at the top, and if you start here, if you start at about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and you start going counterclockwise, and you look near the center of the node and find a high point value node that seems to be one shy of being full, early on, going counterclockwise from here, you'll a high point node with 1 point missing is likely the one that took it out of. That's why it's this one. I know that sounds so ridiculous and arbitrary, but what happens in most of them anyways. The reason I say counterclockwise like that is it's based on the order that they're added in the list, that it's like just sitting in the scene, in the prefab, and that's a lot of them, that's the order that they got added in. But it looks for a high point node close to the center. All right. Is it hard to balance all the Rune Master possibilities? Absolutely. Will the seasonal content be available in offline mode? Yep. What new features are planned after 1.0? Lots of cool stuff. I can't share them with you now. I'm sorry. Focus on 1.0. Are you guys aiming for themed cycles where it has its own kind of system and theme and all that jazz? Yes. Or will it be more like when Rune Master came out, where a bunch of different things that aren't necessarily connected by a common theme? No, it'll be a bit of both, at least initially. There'll be a lot more like just, hey, this is a sweet thing we gotta add to the game. And they'll get more and more focused on specific themes as time goes on. But they will, like, we've really been trying to, like, we give the cycles a name. We've been doing that for a few cycles now. And we do try and drive home that idea of a themed cycle. Yeah. That's one of the things that PoE does really well. Is there going to be a major rebalance of classes for 1.0, as there are quite some relics after introduction of resistance? There are quite some relics after introduction of resistance. I think there's something missing there. I think there's an autocorrect. Doesn't matter though. Major balance. There's a bunch of stuff that's getting changed in balance and things like that. I don't want to. I don't want to say that like specific things are going to get changed or not. There's rhyme right after say the balance guy now. Yes. There are quite a lot of things that have been changed and rebalanced, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm promising that everything's been changed. So there's quite a lot of changes. There's some areas that are much more concentrated in changes. Like there's some skill trees that will have 0 changes, but there are some that will have complete reworks. You know, that sort of thing. Tempest Strike. Will there be cosmetics to druid transformations? Yes, not at 1.0. For example, Kermod's Cage for white fur. Yeah. Would love to see some Swarmblade as a bit electrified. Yeah. Yeah, will be there will be things like that. You can see in your appearance tab, there's down here, skill cosmetics. Ooh, yeah. Where's the skill? Swarmblade's a skill. Gotta have damn cosmetics for it, eventually. Will there be any significant changes to campaign for enemy types being removed or added to make leveling easier or harder? I've been speedrunning, so be nice to know any minor changes. Major changes? Any more changes that help to nerf the run? There hasn't been huge changes to campaign, I don't think. There's been some stuff here and there, but if anything, it's gotten easier, I think. For experienced players, I would say. And easier might be the wrong word. More room for optimization. Just purchased, let's go! Welcome aboard, hope you have fun. Is a monolith or a dungeon with an undead or corrupted Majasa as a boss out of the picture? There are some story reasons why it doesn't work great. So I wouldn't get your hopes up. But at the same time, like, I mean, it's a time travel game. Gotta do what we want. Right? Like, okay, so right before Majasa dies, a corrupted player from a future alternate timeline realizes that the only way to save his wife is to go back and snag Majasa out of the timeline. You know, like so when that happens, and like, great, we can fight her now. I guess my point being, like, we don't have any plans to, and there are story reasons why she's not, but who knows? It's a great boss fight, and I'd love to have an endgame version of it. I haven't played much in a while, but I know the last time I played, it felt like it was pretty easy to craft all the affixes I needed, and even with mediocre gear, I could roll over most timelines. Has scaling been adjusted or planned to be adjusted? Yes. Thank you very much. Psychosis patient, again, welcome. Oh, we've got a gift to Opinger. Oppinger? I see, I play too much Magic, and I see the word Pinger there. I'm like, yeah. What's up? Prodigal. Tim. Mike is gonna go overtime. Yeah, I'll stay a little late here. We're getting real close to time. It's supposed to end in 5 minutes. I feel like I'm still pretty behind. I'm gonna bring something up that's like actually interesting while I talk. I got nothing. We can look at my dude. I'm gonna rattle through some of these questions here just because yeah. We can race OTR, but a multi-random, yeah, across multiple games. Yeah, so do like a oh, so you might have my Megaton Hammer and I might have your bow my game. Okay, yeah, like we'll talk about this later, but my god, yes, I'm in. Is there full controller support? Yes. There might be a couple things that don't work yet, like typing your name in for your character. I think that might be the last thing. When is the arboreal circuit dummy getting a rework? Yeah, the dummy with 2 twigs is supposedly a tree. I know, it's frustrating. This has been such a contentious point internally. Like, you wouldn't even believe. It's just a joke now. It's like Judd and I will be playing, and one of us will have the ring, and the dummy will spawn, and immediately we'll just start laughing at each other because, like, oh yeah, we do not agree on this one at all. But yeah, it's something will happen for sure. Not at 1.0, I don't think though. Will we see weapon MTX at 1.0? There are some. I think there are already some out there. I don't know if there's any available for individual purchase or not. Question mark. Mike, no spoilers. What did I spoil? I'm sorry. Time traveling game. You can do what you want. Where's the pink sheep companion? Or at least my dancing among the last Spriggan. Yeah. Oh my gosh, did I make it to the end? Wasn't that far behind. Are we going to see a roadmap after the game launches to know what's coming in the future? It won't be right away, but I think we'll try and get a little bit longer term communication, just a little bit further out. At some point, I don't know when that'll happen or what it'll look like exactly, but 1.0 is a big milestone for us, and we really don't want to detract from that at all. It's still holiday season. It is still holiday season. I know Judd hates it. See, this is the thing though. Judd and I have different opinions on what's better. Like, so it used to have an old tree model. That Judd hates that model. And I am of the opinion that tree model is better than the dummy. And so, like, given the choice between the two of them, I'd take the tree model. Neither of us like either of them, but it was always a debate of do we keep the tree or do we keep the dummy? This is our great internal turmoil. That we just can't agree on this one thing that sends us over the edge, and it's it's that spirit we're talking about. That just sends us over the edge. We just can't see eye to eye on it, and it's really putting us straight. No. About the totem replacement build question, I was asking, what are your technical thoughts in this in terms of lagging the level? Can it? I played that build with a minion necromancer. Oh, like there was, you were playing, yeah, okay, so you're saying until we kind of lagged out some monos. So it is on purpose that it is a real build. Yes, it's purpose that it's a real build. Will it be changed for technical reasons? No, it's it should be able to handle a necromancer and someone playing that build. I'm not sure why it wasn't. When it's released? February 21st, 2024. Leaks? I have no leaks this week. I am leak free. I got that duct tape and I wrapped it all around the ship nice and tight, and there are no leaks. Please add so you can make the text in game bigger. Visually impaired, nearsighted request this. Often current text is way too small. Yep. We don't have a way of doing this yet. I'm sorry. It is something that's needed. I agree. So obviously factions are super big swing in 1.0. If you notice in the first week that you got the balance wrong and one faction is overwhelmingly favored, would you make mid-cycle changes or hold off until next cycle? So I addressed this a little bit more in depth earlier, but yeah, if there is an overwhelming amount of people playing either of the factions, yeah, we'll be looking at that, and especially in the first week, there's plenty of time to make changes in the first week, and I think we'll be. I don't think we'll need to make any like major like, oh my god, pull the emergency lever type changes. I'm just getting demolished here, but I do think that we will. I think that there'll be an early hotfix. I'm just gonna supply. I think there'll be an early hotfix where we'll see some favor cost changes. So like, we'll go in there and be like, oh, the favor cost of buying unique items is reduced by 10%, and the favor cost of selling legendary items is up 20%, and the favor cost of lenses is being dropped by 10%. You know, things like that. Like we'll be like small incremental changes to favor costs is a really low player impact. It's a bad way of putting it. Low friction might be a good way of saying it. Way of making changes to the relative balance between the two factions, while not fundamentally changing things to the point that people are like, oh, you ruined everything and now I have to switch. So I think we can move that needle, especially if we're looking at it as like it's 90-10. Either way, that's the sort of thing that we'll be like, okay, let's make some small favor cost changes. Let's see what that does to it. And you know, like it'll take some time to get things settled. It would have to be a pretty significant gap for us to take action. At least significant action, I guess. The response will be relative to the need, I guess. No leaks. I didn't expect this kind of torment from you. Sorry, I guess I should have been upfront about that. My bad. Alright, last few questions here, and I'm gonna hop off. Will we have a better way to target enemies with spells on controller? We are working hard on this. I don't have any specific news for you yet. Will there be an improve to the reskill system in the future? You're saying it's very tedious to respec every single point, like it is at the moment. Yeah, there's either I think there's a respec all button in passives. I think you're talking about. Heads up right now, enter does hit that OK button, so you can just like click enter, and it's way faster. But yeah, I think there's either a respec all that's in or about to be in. We're working on that for passives. Will we get another lore master stream before 1.0 to help bring hype to the story and answer more questions? I'd love to. Kyle, if you're around, let me know. Do another stream. Considering I do bi-weekly runs and used to do weekly runs, so I know most speedrunning tactics and glitches, I'm not sure a competition would be fair for a while. Yeah, Kane would crush me into the ground, and I'm totally fine with that. Are there going to be faction-specific uniques like Merchant's Guild? You gain X more damage for gold you have. No. There are. I think those are shared. No. That's not to say that we can't or won't, but there aren't any in 1.0. Right. From us and our shields, have a great day. Hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you have lots of fun. And you always roll the hard 6. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Hope you had a great time. I know I did. I'll be back same time, same place next week. We will be hanging out, doing exactly what we just did. It'll be lots of fun. It'll be great. If you have a question that I did not answer, I'm sorry. I did not mean to. We will be still answering questions in our Discord. There's also lots of great community members over there that are very knowledgeable and will answer all sorts of questions there too. We are quite active on various platforms, Reddit, our forums, other things too. I'm just listening to things that I do. um, yeah, we'll be back. Let's find someone to say hi to. Oh, Dread's been around forever. Let's go say hi to Dread. All right, we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great time.